We not only have right and left hemisphere, we also have three vertical levels of the brain. And these three levels of the brain each have an organizing principle to them, based on their functions and based on our primary needs and thus our primary motivations. At the first level of the brain, the reptilian brain, or sometimes called the brain stem, this is the part of our brain that regulates our nervous system and our breathing cycles and makes our eyes blink so that our eyes don't dry out. And it's responsible for all of these unconscious and involuntary, aka autonomic functions of the body that are all designed to keep us safe. This region of the brain is constantly scanning our environment for signals of threat and signals of safety as well. But we don't know that at all. We don't work too hard at that at all. It's happening without our knowledge and without our will being involved. And so this region of the brain, its organizing principle is safety. Its job is to keep us safe. Okay? Then if we go to the mid region of the brain, the mammalian brain or the subcortex, this is the center of feeling in the brain. And all humans want to feel what? We want to feel good, don't we? And so this is the center of a brain that is actually organized around rewards. When I do that, I get this result, and I want a good result. And that can look like short-term hedonic pleasure, or that can look like long-term satisfaction, right? The Snickers bar versus the nutritious meal, or the night drinking with your friends versus the yoga class in the morning, right? But one way or the other, we're always seeking some sort of gratification. That's the organizing principle of the second tier of the brain, is gratification, to feel good. Then we go to the most sophisticated and most recently evolved region of the brain, the neocortex, or the forebrain, which lots of humans have a forebrain, but humans are the only animals that have it evolved to the extent that we do. And now this is the seat of our what's called our higher order emotional functions. Gratitude, compassion, love, right? Values, ethics, sense of who we are, sense of what matters in life. The organizing principle of the forebrain is connection and belonging. We all want to belong, and when we don't feel we belong, when we feel out of step, or when we feel alienated, we go into the stress response, isn't it? If any of these primary needs for safety, gratification, or belonging are violated or are absent in some way, we start to freak out. We go into fight, flight. But in the presence of safety, gratification, and belonging, our bodies go into a totally different automatic response called the relaxation response. Over here we have fight, flight. Over here we have tend and befriend, as Tara Brach calls it. The relaxation response is basically your body's healing mode. It is when our bodies go into tissue repair and organ detoxification and so on. And when we go to sleep at night, something else comes out called our glial cells, which naturally prune away anything that is unnecessarily held in the brain. Our bodies are constantly trying to heal, constantly trying to move in the direction of well-being at all times. This is a very promising fun fact, that it is the nature of the human organism to move in the direction of well-being and wholeness at all times. In the presence of threat and stressors, that looks one way, and it looks like stress and anxiety and freak out and defense. But in the presence of these other conditions, safety, gratification, and belonging, it looks like something else. And so the first attitude that we need to bring into our meditation, I frame as this concept that comes from psychoanalysis called the holding environment. The holding environment comes from a gentleman named Donald Winnicott, who gave us a fantastic amount of theory on not only the therapist-client relationship, but also on child development. And the holding environment, really he was trying to define the ideal environment a therapist creates for a client. It's a space that's infused with caring, with the energy of caring, with warmth, gratification, belonging, and a sense of safety, so that difficulties can emerge, so that the client feels comfortable enough to express things that are vulnerable, so that together we can hold those things and feel them through and process them and be with them until eventually they dissolve. And a holding environment can be any metaphorical space. It can be the space between lovers. It can be the space of, the energy that you bring to a room full of your friends. And it can occupy the space of our meditation, the metaphoric space of the meditation, and the literal space of our bodies. To infuse our practice with a sense of caring. At the very least, some friendliness, some curiosity. At the very, very least, safety.